Learning again, this is Rabbi Shlomo, first year Yeshiva Tsama Nafshi. I'm temporarily substituting for Rabbi Reuven Levitt, who's taking care of some important business for the Yeshiva, Mr. Shem is broke. We're in Nefesh HaChaim, our third shir of the day. Shar Aleph Perek Test, the ninth Perek of the first gate of the Sefer Nefesh HaChaim. Let's go take it from the beginning again. You have to read a bit.
Okay, V'hinei Dor HaMidbar. And it was that the generation of the wilderness, She Zahu, that they merited Lios to be Me'ochle, eating Shulchan Gavoa, from the table on high, referring to the man.
Right.
Lechem min hashamayim, bread from heaven. Devar yom biyomo. It was a thing each day?
Each and every day, except for Shabbos.
What's the word devar mean?
It's like a phrase, davar yom biyomo. It's a daily occurrence.
Daily occurrence. Davar is an occurrence. Okay.
In this way, it was a daily. In this kind of daily. Literally, davar means a thing, but thing in most generic terms can be a physical thing, an occurrence, a concept. Could be a concept sometimes.
A daily thing. Daily occurrence.
A daily thing. Right.
V'sim la sam lo valsa. May lehem. The sim lasam, and their clothing.
Yeah.
Their clothing did not wear out.
Yes.
From upon them.
They didn't have to worry about their clothes wearing out.
Shimlach lasam, that's clothing.
Simlus is clothing, garments,
okay.
Right? Even in modern Hebrew, simla is a dress. Simla is a dress. Right.
V'lo hayu tzarichim lashum asek parnasa, and they did not need what's lashum? Any immersion in involvement in working for a livelihood. Ba'olam klal, really at all.
Right. They didn't have to involve. There was no necessity for them to involve themselves in any livelihood activities at all.
L'divrei hakol lo mikru osin ritzono shel makom, and all of these things are not written to do the will of Hashem.
Let's see 1 second. L'divrei hakol lo mikru osin ritzono shel makom, and according to everyone, lo mikru osin ritzono shel makom. Let's see the rest of the sentence before you translate. Go ahead.
Ella, rather, in Cain, if so, Hayu was mas taklin klape ma'ala biasher gamur. Let's stop here.
Biyosher, yes. Biyosher gamur. Okay, let's. This is a bit of a difficult sentence.
Yeah.
Before you start, can I ask, up top in the first sentence, the word to eat, which word was that?
Me'ochle shulchan gavor. Me'ochle, you see the word oichel?
Me'ochle, that means to eat?
Right, the mem is a preface, it's from. The mem means from.
Okay.
The aleph, chaf lamed, and the vav is helpful in the shurish also. Oichel is aleph, vav, chaf lamed. Me'ochle, from those who eat. Right, from those who eat shulchan gavor, from literally like the heavenly table. They eat directly from HaKodesh Baruch Hu's direct involvement in their lives. I mean, that's what he was giving them. The lechem yom yomoma, they were getting the man on a daily basis.
Okay,
Right?
thank you.
So now this sentence, the divya kol lo mikru oisim ratzona shomakam ela im kein hayim istaklin klapi mala v'yosher gamur. Now, first of all, the wording is difficult in terms of translating, and also the concept needs to be understood too. And so we have two things to work on here. I'll read it again, and then maybe I'll explain the concept, and we'll try and put the concept into the words. Okay? The divya kol lo mikru oisim ratzona shomakam ela im kein hayim istaklin klapi mala v'yosher gamur. That the concept is like everyone is in agreement that they never would have been considered to be doing the will of HaKodesh Baruch Hu unless they were obviously looking towards Hashem directly for their path through life. Right? Meaning they obviously, to be called Oisin Ratzon Shomakam, it must have been that they were constantly looking towards HaKodesh Baruch Hu for their direction. Right? So now let's look at the words and see if we can fit into the words. The Divriya call, according to everybody, Lo Mikru Oisim Ritzon Shomakim, they would never have been called doing the will of Hashem, Ella, except, Ella Im Kain, only except if they were mistaklim, they were constantly observant, Klapi Mala, above, if they were constantly observant to above, but Yosher Gomer, with absolute undivided attention.
What's klape?
Klape means in that direction. Klapi Mala, in that direction above.
Direction of above.
What's gamor?
Absolute. You use an expression, it was a tos gamur. It was an absolute mistake.
What does beseda gamor mean?
The Seder Gamor is a phrase that means the Besedas means it's okay, it's also good. It's in complete order. It's
Beseda gamor
is in complete order. I mean, everything's okay. It's in complete
And then you
order.
have like a tzaddik gamor.
Tzaddik gamor,
Solid.
right?
Tzaddik.
You have the Russia gamor,
Solid.
and you have the absolute Russia.
Right. Fighter?
Yeah, we have. So what is this? What is this statement that's being made? We have a preface, and we have then a statement that they got everything with Hashem, right? And they were obviously looking towards Hashem, right? Now, let's continue right there. Yeah. Mushtabdim.
Umishabedin es libam. And they dedicated their hearts.
Beautiful, very good. Mushtabdim, dedicated. Right, very good translation. Dedicated.
Rak the Torah, only to the Torah, va'avoda, and service.
Right, so
Service in this case means prayer?
Includes, but it also means basically keeping Torah and mitzvahs, keeping the mitzvahs. But that's part of praying is also part of it.
Vayirasu, and is ba or just C?
Yirasu Yisbarach Shemo. No, this okay. Yeah, this expression Vayirasu is a Yisbarach Shemo. This is Yirasu is a reference to HaKodesh Baruch Hu, right? You have
They had awe for him.
well, it's the vav at the end makes it they, right?
Right.
So literally it means their fear, but it really means the one that they fear. Yisbarach Shemo, meaning the one they fear, meaning Hashem, blessed be He. So Yiraso is a reference to the one they fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
This expression is also used in Rashi and Chumash towards the Havdil of Avodah Zorah. there's the thing that you fear, right, is the thing which you are worshiping, right?
Right.
So it's used in this context towards the HaKodesh Baruch Hu that they have fear for HaKodesh Baruch Hu, and HaKodesh Baruch Hu is the one they fear. So it's a reference to HaKodesh Baruch Hu, meaning that they are relating to to HaKodesh Baruch Hu, and that He is the one that we fear.
Where are you going in there?
I'm going to try and find a Rashi in Chumash to show you where this word expression comes up again.
Yerusha.
Yeah.
Which book are you in?
It's going to be in, hopefully I can, let me see if I can find it, but Midbar, if I can find it. I'm not confident I'm going to find it right off the bat. 1 second.
Okay.
Won't be able to find it so quickly. Okay. Yes.
You see the time
It's now 11 o'clock there.
and the thing going off?
Yeah.
I put 5 shekels in. 5 shekels is 2.5 hours.
Right.
I specifically put in the amount of money to get us to 11:30.
Okay.
It absolutely took a shekel from us.
All right, so you have to mention this to Rabbi Moore, and
Okay.
he should refund our money. Yeah, I was concerned about that also.
And I'm concerned also because the kilowatt hour right now is 0.47 of a shekel.
Right.
So if you're telling us that a half a shekel here is, a whole shekel here is only going to get you a half an hour, a whole shekel is more than a kilowatt hour. It's only 0.94. So why do we only get a half an hour when it's a full hour for a full shekel? So at least we should get 15 more minutes.
Right.
It should be at least a 45-minute shot for 1 shekel. Not a half an hour shot, and then not take, is it a 2-hour limit? Do I know next time not to put more than 2 hours worth? You know what I'm saying? Maybe I don't know something about it, but it definitely should have given us till 11:30 today.
Right.
And it's going off right now.
Okay. So you see Rabbi Moore, if you mentioned, ask him to
Okay.
make...
I'm sorry.
No, it's
I'll have
okay.
to edit that out.
And thank you very much for turning it on.
No, it's very...
Breakfast paid. So thank you for breakfast for somebody putting shekels in yesterday.
Okay. Yeah. I'll see if I can find some examples where that expression comes up. The Rashi mentions it, I think, once or twice in English.
Okay.
So the Yuraso Yisbarak Shemov, and he who they fear, blessed be he, right?
Yamam v'layla, day and night, lo yamush mi pihem, from their faces,
Pihem,
From
their
their
mouths,
mouth.
right?
From
Lo
their
mi-
mouths.
they never left their mouth, meaning that they were devoted to HaKodesh Baruch Hu through their Torah and their avoda, and it never left their mouth. They were constantly aware and serving Hashem.
divarim kich savan, mamash. Words, something actually.
Words
Kich savan.
as they are actually written, Devarim Kikasabim, as they are written.
Oh, words as they're actually written.
Right, words as they are actually written.
Bli natos el hatzad kalal. Without leaning to the side at all.
Right, without inclining or not leaning to any not veering off at all. I mean, they were completely, absolutely devoted to HaKodesh Baruch Hu, as the way things are actually written, and without any variation.
Af sha'a kala Asek Parnasa. Even an easy hour.
Well, this is a short kala means a slight amount of time.
A slight amount of time. Okay. Okay. Slight amount of time to be involved in parnasa.
I mean, not even that. They didn't even devote it. There was nothing they had to do for parnasa. Everything was taken care of for them.
They had to gather them on.
Okay, that they had to do. But the tzaddikim, it says it came right at the foot of the tent.
Right.
Even that they didn't have to do. Right. Actually, there are two contrasting statements of Chazal. One statement is we're more familiar with is that the tzaddikim had their man come to them right at their doorstep to make it easier for them. They didn't have to extend themselves in the slightest bit. And those who were less tzaddikim, more Rishoyim, they had to go out into the fields. Right?
Right.
There's another Chazal that says those who were energetic, right? They had their man out in the field, right? And those who were lazy, right, not so energetic, had their man given to them at their doorstep.
Interesting.
So I thought about this, and it shows a very deep understanding of how HaKodesh Baruch Hu runs the world. Look what's going on. Look what's going on. You have those people who are energetic, right? And in terms of serving Hashem, obviously. So who's out in the field? You have the people who aren't the greatest, the Rishoyim. You know, they're not the greatest tzaddikim. You need chizik. And you have who else is out in the field with them? Those who are energetic, right? So that's a good mix. You have these people who are worked up, have a lot of energy, and the people who are they're not so careful and they're keeping the mitzvahs. So they have a good somebody to talk to out there in the field, going in and coming back, right? And what's going back to the tents? So the tzaddikim are back in the tents, and who else are back in the tents? The lazy people. So the tzaddikim can have an influence on the lazy people.
On the lazy people.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. You answered a question that has always bothered me.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I always wondered, well, how can Hashem embarrass people? Because if the person has to go far away, everybody sees him going far away. They know that he's, he's a problem case.
Yeah.
But now what you're saying is you don't know, because he could be an energetic person. So I never heard that before. That answers that question.
Okay. Sure.
Maram Zichronam Livracha, and the Ma'amaram.
Ma'amaram Zichron Livracha. This usually sometimes you see Chazal Zichron Livracha, the Chachamim Zichron Livracha, sometimes in Rabosenu Zichron Livracha. Right. Also, another way it's written is K'ma'amaram Zichron Livracha, meaning as it is from those who said it, Zichron Livracha, meaning it's a reference to Chazal. Right? It's a reference to Zichron Livracha. The bracha is going on. Those Chachamim, sages of early generations of the time of the Tanoim and Amoraim, they're called Chazal. What does Chazal mean? Chazal means Chachamenu Zichron Livracha. Our sages, blessed be their names, right?
Right.
And Rabosenu Zichron Livracha. Our rabbis, blessed be them, right? Also,
this is our speakers.
Right? Yeah, like our speakers, our spokesman.
Our spokesman, blessed be them.
Blessed be them. Right.
Or a blessed memory, I guess you'd say.
Zichron, yeah, blessed memory. That's how you say it in English. So blessed memory. Right?
Lo nitna Torah ella le'ochle man. They didn't push aside the Torah except to eat the man. Lechein, therefore, ha'amidu az es hakeruvim lefi ma shehayu osin ritzono shel makom. Therefore, they stood. The Cheruvim stood. The feet in accordance with what was done, according to what that they did, according to how they did the will of Hashem.
Okay, oh yeah, right, very good. Okay, so he's been leading up to the fact that the Torah was only given to those who eat the man.
Right.
And likewise, Midu as a Kruvim with name Hashosim Ritzonim Shemokim. Likewise, the Kruvim would be positioned according to the way the Jews were doing the will of the HaKodesh Baruch Hu.
Pneihem ish el achiv mamash. The mouth or the speaking of a person to his friend in actuality.
So
how they actually spoke to each other.
Yeah, but Mashu Osim Ratzon Shomakim no, this is their faces. Pneihem ish el achiv mamish.
Oh, the faces of the Cheruvim.
Right, the countenance, the faces of each one to his partner, exactly. The
har os ki yashar yechezu pneihem yisbarach. That they saw when their faces were straight. Yisbarach, blessed. I don't get the Yisbarach.
Right. So the rois ki yashar yechazu pneihem yisbarach. Panim v'panim im am kadsha. That meaning, just as the Kruvim, they would be facing each other, face to face. That is to indicate l'rosh, to indicate. The rosh, to indicate ki yashar yachazu pnei moy yisbarach. That's to indicate that it's direct. It's a direct yechazu pnei moy yisbarach. Panim b'panim. That to indicate that there's a straight that HaKodesh Baruch Hu, right, is viewing, Yechazu is viewing, right, face to face with his holy nation, right? That when the Kruvim were being facing each other, that was an indication, right, that it was a direct
Hashem's watching us too. He's right there with us.
Yeah, we're trying to find a good word. Watching. He's like that. Hashem is directly observant. Directly observant, right? One face to the next, face to face with His holy nation. So when the Kruvim are facing each other, that's to indicate and shows an indication that HaKodesh is directly facing face to face and observing His holy nation. We do it, it's like you have a parent, and when the child's doing something cute, something nice, so he stops what he's doing, and he watches the child just to get pleasure from the child, doing something nice and interesting.
I'm not clear on this transition from the discussion of the man and the learning Torah and the dedication to Hashem,
right,
into the Kruvim.
Right.
L'chein ha'amidu az es ha'kruvim. What does that mean exactly? Therefore, what's the therefore?
Right. See, I've been out for the last few times, so actually the discussion of the Kruvim started taking place a few chapters before, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, so he's dealing with this concept of the whole concept of the Kruvim.
That's the overall concept that we're dealing with.
Right.
So somehow we get back to it, but I'm not sure how we get
Yeah, so to begin this chapter, he wanted to see what he was explaining as a preface to this chapter, that the whole ability for Klal Yisrael to have that benefit, that special relationship of the HaKodesh Baruch Hu concentrating completely upon Klal Yisrael and facing face to face, just like the Kruvim are facing face to face, that whole relationship is based upon the fact that we were doing nothing else and we were only completely devoted to HaKodesh Baruch Hu. We had no other interest absolutely whatsoever at all except HaKodesh Baruch Hu. If we face directly and absolutely towards HaKodesh Baruch Hu, right, that means he's going to face directly, so to speak, and absolutely towards us. If we're going to start being interested in other things, right, so to speak, HaKodesh Baruch Hu, me, I'm interested in other things too. Right? You've got the universe, and you can, I'm sure there's many interesting things that HaKodesh Baruch Hu, so to speak, could be interested in the universe if he wants to be interested in things that are going on. Right? But he's most interested in us. But when does he pay? He's always paying attention to us, more than anything else in the whole universe. But when is he directly observing what we're doing? When we are directly serving him, without any other variations or any wanderings in our attention. So that's the whole point. If you want to get siyata d'shmaya, you want to get hatzlacha and bracha. So I always used to say that if you look at the Sefer Chavos HaLevavos, which is a sefer based on the faith and trust in the HaKodesh Baruch Hu, right? So we're all taught, we all know, to a lesser extent, that according to the amount of trust we have in the HaKodesh Baruch Hu, that's how much the HaKodesh Baruch Hu do for us. They had to trust the HaKodesh Baruch Hu every day for their bread, right? Every day they had to trust. So they had the greatest amount of trust in the HaKodesh Baruch Hu. They had the greatest direct intervention in their lives from the HaKodesh Baruch Hu. He gave them their bread every day. He gave them the water from the Bir Miriam every day, right? They had the Inani covered, blazing a path through the midbar for them, right? They had no clothes to repair, no shoes to repair, right?
Bathroom, man.
Right. Bathroom also.
What I would give not to ever have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Amen. Okay, but now, so I'm trying to relate this now to myself.
Good.
So they had everything provided for them.
Sure.
So for them to be involved in Parnassa would be a lack of faith.
Correct.
But for us, we don't have everything provided.
Correct.
And in fact, it's a mitzvah.
Mm-hmm.
Parnassa is a mitzvah.
Okay.
So if I do my Parnassa with the proper attitude,
Mm-hmm.
that it's a mitzvah, that I know the money does not come because of what I do, it comes because Hashem is giving it to me, and I'm the only reason I'm working is because Hashem says I have to work. It's a mitzvah. So I'm doing a mitzvah, I'm serving Hashem. So it would seem to me that would not be an impediment to the connection to Hashem.
Okay. It's true that you can make your Parnassa a mitzvah, and it is a mitzvah, right? This is the basic question of what we call the shtadlus, efforts. What are the efforts that a person has to put forth?
That's what I see from your man example.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what does that mean? I have to do my part. What does that mean?
Right.
Well, apparently a tzaddik's part comes right to him. Okay, what's the lazy person's part? And it comes back, well, wait a minute, how do you reward the lazy person? Well, maybe that person physically can't do it. The guy who has the energy, he can go out. So, again, we don't know what our effort is. My effort's different than, you know what I'm saying? We don't know what that even means. For some of us, it may just mean waking up and saying the Shema. Maybe Hashem knows that's all that person can do. Because of that, I'm going to help him get everything else he needs. But yeah, that's the issue. What is our part? What does that even mean? And it's like, how do we know Yeah, Chidushu, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's the, again, we have their example to teach us, right? Their example is to teach us that it is possible. It is possible. It's a big discussion about what is the proper hishtalos a person's supposed to do. How much is he supposed to do? In theory, right? In theory, if he's devoting himself absolutely, completely to HaKodesh Baruch Hu, that's what we're learning about Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. He doesn't have to say Shemona Esrei. Didn't have to pray, because what are you praying for? You're praying for your needs. Ostensibly, you're praying for your needs. He didn't need anything. Meaning, his Torah was doing all the things that prayer could ever possibly do. So it would be worse for him to pray than and stop learning, right? So that's the other side is sometimes a person will do too much ishtalos, right? Which will backfire as well. Right? Especially in our society, in earlier societies where a person could learn a trade, right, and make some type of a living by having a trade, and he could make his own hours and things. But in our society, first of all, you have to realize when people go into trades or professions, a lot of their motivations, besides how much money they're potentially going to make, is their pride, how much gaiva is involved. Like I used to advise. There was one Roch in the Yeshiva that I used to constantly joke with him, and he was planning about going to college and these things. I said, he was planning to go in college and this kind of thing. So I said, listen, if you want a really good profit margin, right, you want to make good profits, I can't imagine anything better than selling balloons and popcorn at the zoo. You buy a pound of popcorn for $4 or $5, maybe less. Maybe 100 balloons, also a couple of bucks. You blow up the balloons and you sell them. There's a $2 balloon. You pay for your whole, everything's profit. Right? I kept telling him, you don't want to sell balloons and popcorn in the zoo. Why? Because you want something a little bit more respectable, right? So you're not interested in, making money. You're interested in your own pride. That's why you're doing it.
You're a tough friend.
Nice.
Okay, so here's the situation with my son.
Your son, okay.
My son is a masmid. He's a genius.
Good.
Thank
A
God.
what?
Masmid is a
Masmid?
Masmid.
Masmid, okay, I'm sorry, go ahead. Genius?
So when he was in high school, he was a top student. I think he graduated second in his class. And he went to TELS, which is a school that had a lot of sons of rabbis. And I'm not a rabbi by any means. So he went to the library on his free time. He read a book on programming and taught himself programming on his free time. And he wrote several programs, and he did a good job. I was very impressed, and I'm a programmer. That's my field. So I know what I'm evaluating. Okay, so now he's 30. He's got 4 children. His wife is wonderful, and she works, but his Rosh Yeshiva is advising him go back to America. Why? Because in America you'll be able to teach, and here. People like you in Israel are a dime a dozen. It's going to be very hard for you to get a parnasa, to be able to teach or something like that. And go back to America, and you can learn, you can teach, and you'll have a good lifestyle. And I'm saying that's crazy. There's a huge shortage of IT professionals in Israel, and there's a strong desire on the part of the government to have Haredi work, and I would consider my son to be Haredi. He learns 14, 16 hours a day. And I'm saying to him, look, you could probably get with investment of, let's say, 4 to 6 months in some kind of training program, you could probably get yourself into a job, and maybe you'd have to be full-time for a while, but then you could probably, after, let's say, a year, you could back off and work like 2 or 3 hours a week, 2 or 3 hours a day. And you could learn 11 hours a day or 10 hours a day. So to me, that is a much better idea than to pick up and leave Israel, which my understanding is you're not supposed to leave Israel. He's been living in Israel now for like 8 years.
He was married here?
He's married. He was married in Chicago,
Right.
but he was already in Israel.
Uh-huh.
He had a shidduch. He met his wife. He flew to Chicago, met his wife, and he got married in Chicago, and then they came back here.
Yeah.
And he's been here ever since. And his children are all born here.
Right.
He has not made Aliyah. His wife has not made Aliyah, but nevertheless, they've been living here.
Sure.
So, to me, that's it's a mitzvah to provide for your family. They don't need that much. They're very they're not materialistic. They don't want to have much. They have a small apartment and they don't have a lot of possessions, and they don't want a lot of possessions. They're happy with what they have. So to me, that's a much better solution. I don't understand really where his Rosh Yeshiva, which is Tzvi Kaplan, he's a Brisker Yeshiva, and he's a great guy. But I don't understand how he's giving him this advice.
How does your son feel about it?
He doesn't want to go back to America, but he doesn't want to not do what his Rosh Yeshiva says either.
Again, these things are not written in stone. You can get other advice. Maybe you should just realizing what some of this what he's facing in America. Maybe you should ask his Yeshiva if his Yeshiva can give an estimate how much it's going to cost for him to send his children to Jewish schools in America.
Right, I made that point. I said it's going to cost you a lot of money for school.
I know professionals, people are working day and night, and they can't keep up with just the educational costs.
$10,000 a year per child it can cost.
They can't even keep up with them. They can't keep up.
Now my son said that he was told that if he goes to Cincinnati, that they have a voucher program over there, and that it would be a lot less. But then he's got to go to a city he's never lived in, he doesn't know anybody in, he has no connection to it at all.
Yeah, small cities, how many opportunities he's going to have there also if he wants to go. So if he's thinking, does he really think he wants to be going to Chinuch? I mean, what's his?
Well, he wants to be immersed in the Torah world. He doesn't want to go get a job in high tech,
right,
where he'd be, mixing with Yerushalyim, so to speak, our other topic. And I respect that.
Sure, yeah, for sure.
But if he goes to teach, he's soft-spoken and shy. So that's a difficulty for him. He's he's brilliant, but he is soft-spoken and shy, and so it's going to be difficult for him to get a parnasa where he's a rabbi, a pulpit rabbi, or a teacher. I would think that he would become a posek because he's so sharp. But he doesn't have smicha. But it would seem to me that he could easily do that.
Yeah, but just smicha is only giving you the driver's license.
Right.
And if you want to start with the ND 500, you got to do a lot more than just have a driver's license.
Right. And his Rosh Yeshiva is saying you're not going to make it in Israel in that direction.
Look, if he wants to come and speak to me, he wants to call me up and speak to me, I'm happy to talk to him about it and get more of a picture of his situation. Without knowing the details, if he had an offer, right, someone was offering him a job, $60,000, $70,000 a year, which is that's not that much money either.
Teaching in America.
Yeah, first of all, you should realize how much, and there are a lot of B'nai Torah in America also. Lakewood's a big place. There are a lot of. It's not like it used to be, 50 years ago, where there were a few B'nai Torah and a few independent places. America is filled, Baruch Hashem, with a lot of B'nai Torah. I was told by Reb Mendel Weinbach in terms of Kiruv, this was Zitzal, who was one of those yeshivas of Rosh Sameach, I had a Talmud, he was interested in going to go back to Kiruv. And so I said, let's go speak to Rav Mendel Weinbach. He's in the Yeshiva's Osamer. He knows the situation better, as good as anybody.
Right.
And the first thing he told us is the field's flooded. There are more people to do Kiruv than we have people in the Kiruv.
Right.
So, again, there are opportunities. But that's the thing. When we believe that HaKodesh is running the world, Hashem makes a niche for a person. Like Hashem is making these niches. Hashem will create these things. Hashem, these things. There's Alpi there. And it's true. Alpi Teva, Alpi, the natural way of working. There are more jobs in America available. Okay, but it's one thing if he's getting a job offer, right? Should he look for a job? I wouldn't advise him to move before he has a job offer. Before he's taken a job, to go there for a couple of months on his own and see if this is for him. There's this neighborhood for his family, right? There's a Shabbos like what he needs and what he wants for his family. There's education, for who are the neighbors, who are the kids that are going to the schools. He's doing it with children. His oldest is how old now?
6.
They're at a very soft age.
Right. That's another concern I have.
I
think it'd be very hard for the children.
Very hard. What are the kids going to be like? Like I told you about my friend who came back from summer vacation with a whole new vocabulary every summer.
Right.
These children, they're living in the very sheltered Israeli school system.
His children are in that situation. They're in a Cheder.
Yeah.
They're going to where they're learning Yiddish and they're it's very, very protective. Yeah.
So okay, I don't want to be. I can assume that this Rosh Yeshiva knows this situation much better than I. I'm not.
Well, he's going to go back and talk to he met with me and my wife, and when we went over this, we spent like a couple hours talking it all out. He's gone through and he's developed a financial, statement of all of his income and what he thinks he can do and so on. He's going to meet with his Rosh Yeshiva again to talk about it. And I told him, tell him your parents are against it.
To be sure, that's very important. That's very important.
Yeah.
And look,
I'll mention to him that he can call you. He probably won't, but I'll mention to him that you could advise him also.
In terms of jobs, you can go on Django. They're always looking for programmers and computer people. Always looking for people like that. Always looking for that.
And I would think, from what I've read, there are programs that are catered for Haredi.
Yeah, you can get training here.
Where they wouldn't come into contact with women and they'd be working with other Haredim and so on and so forth.
They've got a camp coming up, a programmer camp. That they're going to be trying to, people over 50, women, Haredim, they're going after certain groups because of this shortage, and they're going to have coding camps in Jerusalem.
I read about that, yeah.
So, look, it's a very big decision. And, tell him, not in my name, you can fight his Rosh Yeshiva on this. Unless Rosh Yeshiva wants to come out, but they'll find another place to live.
Right.
They're coaling all over. They're always Baruch Hashem, just to get
a part of the growth.
Where's he living?
He lives in. It's not too far from Gula. It's Marathon and Somalia.
Yeah, there are all kinds of coaling here. You can always find, again, how much his wife is doing what?
They're struggling.
Sure.
They have 4 kids. It's not easy. Not easy for his wife to work and take care of 4 kids.
Look, it's sure, of course. All right, look, but the general rule is derech she'adam rotzeh leilech u'likin. So in the direction that a person wants to go, that's where he's going to be led. If he wants to stay here, Hashem says he wants to stay here, so Hashem will make it.
Okay, well, thank you. You've given me a lot of personal attention today.
I don't want to fight his Rosh Yeshiva, but
right, neither do I.
No, but you have the right to speak up. You have the right to, if you know your son,
Okay.
Okay, I guess we'll stop for a moment or two. Continue the next shoot.